Genshin Impact vs. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The foundations of this story are based on March 3, 2017, back when Zelda Breath of the Wild came out on the Nintendo Switch and Wii U. Breath of the Wild was very well received by the gaming press and players and gained attention with great success. Even players who were not aware of the Zelda series began to hear the series with Breath of the Wild. Like every successful game, a lot of clones and copies started to appear. I cannot comment negatively on this, after not cloning a game exactly. It's not a bad thing to just model its successes, its mechanics, and basic structures. This is how the bond between Genshin Impact and Zelda began. Genshin Impact adapted elements such as the art design combat system, inter-element reaction, player locomotion brought by Zelda Breath of the Wild into its own structure. Some thematic similarities between the two games also stand out. Let's take a look at some similarities between the two games. For example, both games have gliding mechanics. Both games have surface climbing mechanics. Both games have elemental combat mechanics, but the different point starts here. In Zelda games, we can only manage the main character Link. Link can use various weapons such as sword, dagger, spear, bow, shield, claymore. To use the elements, we must combine the element we want to use with a weapon, with this mechanic called fuse. We can add the power of the element we want to the any weapon we want, while increasing the damage rate of that weapon. Genshin, on the other hand, is a gacha game, so you get playable characters and weapons with gacha mechanics. Each character has a unique weapon selection and elemental feature. There are 5 different weapon options in the game: sword, spear, claymore, catalyst, and bow, and it has 7 element features: electro, anemo, which is wind, dendro, which is nature, pyro, hydro, and finally geo. Since it is a gacha game, the characters in the game also have a rarity level. In general, 5-star characters have the chance to open between 75 to 90 wishes in the mechanic called wish in the game, while 4-star characters have a chance to open once in 10 wishes, of course. 5-star characters are more functional than 4-star characters. In general, you should wait for character-specific banners to get 5-star characters in the wish system. However, you may not be able to guarantee that character in that banner. Even in the character-specific banner, you have a 50% chance of unlocking that character. So even if you use your wish rights on that banner, you will either get that character or you will have the chance to open a random 5-star character. And if you really want to unlock that character, you must either get the wish right by playing the game or by in-game wishes using real money. But I must say, the game is generous in opening wishes. If you focus on unlocking only the characters you want and save your wishes instead of unlocking all the characters, you can experience the game without using real money. In Genshin, you can only use a water-going boat, called a wave rider, for transportation, while in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you can combine the fuse ability and various vehicles to make motors, boats, aircraft, and similar transportation vehicles. You can also reach with a horse, including Breath of the Wild, in Zelda games. We also had the chance to use a motorcycle with the DLC content of Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom completely liberated this situation. The only limit to producing the tools you will use is your imagination by searching the internet. You can find various spaceships made in the game by players, vehicles from other movies and games, flying dragons that the player can use, and many more. even the both game have plant-shaped mascot NPCs. And they live in a forest and they have a giant plant or tree-shaped holly figure. In Zelda they are called Korok. They are spirits who are watched over by the Great Deku Tree. In Genshin they are called Aranara. The Aranara are a race of plant-like forest spirits who reside in Vanarana in northern Sumeru. Looking at the comparison, the basic main story and basic design of both game mascots are the same. Of course, Zelda made this choice before Genshin came out, but it cannot be said that you have many options to create a forest-themed mascot. So I don't accuse Genshin of copying. Personally, I love and have played both games, however, when compared to Zelda, some of Genshin's shortcomings stand out directly. Now I will talk about this topic. 3 things Zelda does better than Genshin. Let's start with the dialogue system used in both games. In Zelda, both main missions and side missions are designed to focus on exploration. Dialogues are short and do not contain unnecessary extensions. Sometimes even the dialogues of a main mission can end in half a minute. However, this is not the case in Genshin. Genshin has dialogues. Genshin has very large dialogues and you cannot skip these dialogues directly. Sometimes the dialogues of the side quest or the event that comes with the update last up to 10 minutes and this disrupts the rhythm of the game. Sometimes, even when these dialogues are over, you may have to listen to the dialogue again where the mission continues. For a game that has such a beautiful structure in terms of combat and animation, this is a situation that disrupts the flow. I think the reason they do this is to make people connect with the characters they can unlock with gacha, but on the contrary, it makes them even more boring, instead of overwhelming you with dialogues. Sequences that showcase the characters' fighting and abilities will stand out more than this system. They should also add a skip button for players who do not want to listen to such long dialogues one by one. Without speed editing, the dialogue segment in this card game event runs for 10 minutes. Even if you want to click, you have to wait for next dialogue line load, and with skipping all lines, it runs around 3 minutes. After this segment ends, we have to go to another character and deal with the dialogue segment again. Reading dialogue is more likely in Genshin than playing the game. The second thing I want to mention is that the worlds of both games are really well designed in terms of color palette and decoration. However, in Genshin, friendly NPCs outside of residential areas can only be seen in the open world if there's a mission. Apart from this, the NPCs that wander around the game world randomly are the NPCs that we encounter in the missions, and do not leave the area even after the mission is over. This breaks the illusion that the game's world is alive. However, in Zelda, sometimes NPCs fighting enemies, sometimes enemies disguised as NPCs, and sometimes merchants walking around the map can be seen. This gives the feeling that the world of the game is more alive. These NPCs are not that many, like in an Assassin's Creed game or GTA game. However, they give the impression that there is life in the world of the game. This is how they get the impression that they are going out of the cities for a purpose in a world full of monsters. For example, an NPC I encountered gave me information about the location of the secret armors in the game's world. When I approached another NPC similar to the one who told me the location of the armors with hoping to learn the location of other armor sets' locations. The NPC was hiding as a friendly NPC to catch me off guard. When the conversation ended, he changed into his real form and attacked me. In another example, a random NPC was fighting an enemy when she crossed my path. If you help her defeat the enemy, she gives you a reward food item with buff. Third and finally, another issue is mission design. There is a main quest and side quest system in Zelda and Genshin. However, secret missions can also be found in places you see in Zelda. For example, as we progress through the scenario, we enter an underground settlement. We see that there is a prison here and there is someone inside. If we talk to the prisoner, we learn that he has a daughter and wife. We learn that his daughter is here and he doesn't know where his wife is, but he is worried about her. When we goes to his daughter, we hear that the girl has drawn some pictures on the wall, and she is saying things that contain clues about her mother's whereabouts while she sleeps. If we follow the map from the drawings on the wall, we hear voices coming from a shop that is supposed to be empty in the city. City is abandoned because of the monster infestation. However, the door is blocked and we cannot enter. If we go up from the underground using our skills, we find that the prisoner's wife is here. His wife has opened a secret shop and produces clothes. By completing this secret mission, we can purchase a piece of clothing belonging to this location. If we talk to the prisoner again, he happily says that he will do everything he can to support his wife and daughter. And this secret mission, which is not even in the mission records, is completed. Long story short, although Genshin takes the formula developed by Zelda, it is not an exact copy. And I enjoy spending time playing both games. It does a great job in terms of scenario, character design, and elemental combat, but as I mentioned, in my opinion, it has three flaws that need to be fixed. First, extremely long dialogues should be shortened, or a summary feature should be introduced for those who want to skip the dialogues and do not want to miss the story. Or a feature to skip complete dialogues should be introduced for those who only play the game for the combat system. Secondly, NPCs who travel in the open world and sometimes fight with enemy NPCs should be introduced to make the world feel more alive. Third and finally, random quests that are not in the quest list but emerge through exploration should be introduced. The rewards do not need to be as big as the normal quest. These missions can be encountered in the open world and completed in a short time, like the strangers in GTA games. Thank you for watching the video. If you want to support me and want videos like this to come, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in new videos.